And that is because we teach them what is wrong, what is right, in terms of our environment, in terms of social dimension of human's life, in terms of society in general. It's very important, brothers. So knowledge is not only about Quran and Hadith, but it is about human's life. It is about realities. It is about factual things in life. Number 4, my brothers, is about the importance of quality time. Time is very important for our children. I read one of the articles here in the States a long time ago called American Generation, Angry and Lonely Generation. And I was surprised why American generations are called lonely and angry generation. And as I read down the article, I found that the reason behind why American generations are angry and lonely is because their parents do not have enough time spent for their kids. You can imagine if the fathers are busy, the mothers are busy, everybody is busy looking for something in the name of the children, unfortunately. Yet they don't have time at all for their children. These children needs not only food, needs not only shelter, needs not only dollars. These kids needs mercy and compassion. They need love. They need closeness. They need connection. They need warm relation, psychological connection with the parents. And that's why it's very, very important that parents must spend some time with their children. There is a story, either this story is the true story or just an illustration, but the lesson that we want to take from it is very, very important. So one day there is a father who is very busy for the family, looking for money, leaving the house very early in the morning before the children wake up, and came back home after the children slept. So they never have a time to encounter with the children. Until one day, one of the sons asked his mother, and he said, "My mom, how much is my dad's salary per an hour, for 1 hour?" The mother happened to know the salary. So she told him that your father's salary is such and such amount every hour. So he said, "Mom, give me some money, every day, just $1 or less than $1." And the mother said yes, just to save the money. The mother asked him for what? He said, "Just I wanted to save some money." So when he saved enough money for just 1 hour salary of his father, one day, he kept standing in front of the door until his dad came back from the work late at night. And he was surprised finding his son standing next to the door, didn't sleep. And he said to him, "What happened to you? I usually found you in the past sleeping at this time." And he said, "My dad, I intentionally waited for you for some reason, because I wanted to sit down with you." And the father was so happy. He said, "Yes, let's go and sit down." And he said, "My dad, I wanted to buy you 1 hour of your time, because in the past many months, many years, I never had this opportunity to sit down with you, because you are busy looking for money, and I know your salary per hour is such and such amount, and I have this money. I wanted to buy this, just 1 hour from you." My brothers and sisters, this might be not a true story, but the lesson here is that it's very important to spend some time with our kids. Probably just talking, probably just communicating, but you don't understand, we don't know that how the hearts and the minds of the kids at the time are so warm by the presence of the parents around them. So it's very important to have some time for our kids. The next point I'd like to mention is very, very essential one. And that is the importance of being merciful and compassionate in the process of educating our kids. Especially the immigrants here in the United States and in the western part of the world. We understand that we came from countries that have different cultures, different understanding of life. But one of the things that I've seen here in the West, that
despite of the lacking of basic connection between parents and kids, I can see the way they deal with the kids are more compassionate and merciful. The opposite that happens in some Muslim world, that sometimes parents are so harsh, so tough. So the mentality of the kid is a kind of scared mentality. It's kind of fearful mentality. They do prayer probably because they are scared of the parents. And so I think this kind of methodology must change. We know that in education, as I mentioned several times in the past, that in education there are punishments and reward. So we have to be balanced. But compassion is so essential. And let me just tell you this. From the very beginning of human creation, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala placed a human being in one of the special place called Rahim. Rahimul the womb of the mother. And why the womb of the mother is called Rahmah? Because that Rahmah is so essential for the kid. It's very important. Because that is the place where our kid started transferring compassion and mercy to his heart. But after that, our kids are breastfed by the mothers. Why breastfeeding is very important for the kids? It is not only because it is the best nourishment for the small kid. Today the Western world are talking about the importance of breastfeeding because of physical reason. Now there are more and more women, mothers, are breastfeeding the kids. But let me just tell you this, the Holy Quran had talked about this since 7th century. That وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانَ بِوَالِدَيْهِ حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ وَفِصَالُهُ فِي عَامَيْنِ فِصَالُهُ فِي عَامَيْنِ. And the mothers breastfeed the kid for 2 years in many ways. Why breastfeeding is so important? Because let me just tell you this secret. When the kid is being breastfed by the mother, that is the most intimate moment and compassionate relation between the mother and the kid. And some mothers don't realize that. And that is one of the reasons, probably, why American generations become angry generation, because most of the mothers do not breastfeed the kid. But in the Muslim world, alhamdulillah, we know that the mothers are such responsible in breastfeeding the kid. But brothers, one important thing mentioned in the Holy Quran, that when the doomsday happened, the Yawm al-Qiyamah happened, the destruction of this universe happens, the Holy Quran says, يوم تذهل عن كل مرضعة عما أرضعت وتضع كل ذات حمل حملها وترى الناس سكارى وما هم بسكارى ولكن عذاب الله الشديد. On that day, you will find the mothers are throwing away the breastfed kids. The kid that the mothers are breastfeeding, they will throw away the kids. Why? Because at that moment, human compassion is nothing compared to the difficulty of the doomsday, of the Yawm al-Qiyamah. And that's why, my brothers and sisters, mercy is so essential for our kids. The last point that I'd like to mention in this session is the importance of role model. As you may know that naturally, every human being is in need of role model. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Holy Quran is commanded just to convey the message. مَا عَلَيْكَ إِلَّا الْبَلَاغِ. Your responsibility is only to convey the message. But yet the Holy Quran says, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرِ. There is indeed the best example for you to follow in the life of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, for those who believe in Allah and in the last day. My brothers, role model is so essential and so important. Why it is that? Because basically when our kids are coming home from the school, they have a different kind of role models in their minds. Their teachers, but let me just tell you that not many teachers in the public schools are so responsibly become role model for the kids. The way they talk, not necessarily responsibly. Their friends, they are not responsible friends around. So if our kids do not find the possibility of role model at home, I'm sure that they are going somewhere else to find role model. And that's why many of our kids, subhanallah,
most of them are taking their models from Hollywood or from different sources, because they don't find that role model in the life of their parents. Sometimes I give these small examples. We send our kids to the weekend school, 3 hours. Luckily, if we have 2 days, so we have 6 hours a week for our kids to study Al-Islam, coming to the weekend school. The teachers in the weekend school teach them how to memorize the dua before eating. Allahumma barik lana fima razaqtana wa qina adhab an-nar. So when the kid memorized that in the masjid, they came back home. Imagine, from Saturday to the next Saturday. For the whole week, every time that our kids are eating, they didn't see that parents reading it. So the next Saturday, when they go back to the weekend school, we ask them, did you read dua before eating? And you know, sometimes in American kids, sometimes, you know. So we ask them, why sometimes? They will say, you know, we forget or forgot. And they say, why you forgot it? Nobody reminded me? Nobody reminded you, your parents? To our surprise, they said, our parents didn't read it too. And that is the problem. Because they don't see the parents reading it, they don't read it, and they simply forget it. When our kids are going to school in the morning, the sunnah is to say at least Assalamu alaikum to those who are at home. Coming back home, they say Assalamu alaikum. They don't see that parents say Assalamu alaikum when they leave the house. When the person coming out, they don't say Assalamu alaikum. And there are many examples, my brothers. My point is that it is so incumbent, very important, paramount important, for our parents to show the children the best example. Because again, if they fail to find best example at home, believe me, they will find examples somewhere else. Maybe on the street, maybe in subways, maybe in Times Square, maybe in the supermarkets, maybe in the restaurants, or maybe in the schools. That not necessarily they will find a good example at school or in the schools. And that's why, my brothers, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had become the role model for the Muslims, because we Muslims are naturally in need of the role model. And none else is the best role model but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And none else is the best example after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam more than our own parents, supposedly. And I hope that you understand the responsibility to become the uswa hasana, the qudwa hasana, the role model, the best example for our kids. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make easy for us. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.